Sure, everybody going to college seems great, but there is actually a huge problem in South Korea of overeducation. All of the families want their children to go to college, so they spend so much time and money on these private academies to get their children into college. But then this just adds to the problem. There's too many students, too many universities, and too many graduates to be supported by this country. More than 60% of Koreans ages 25 to 34 have higher educations, but all want the top jobs at the top companies. And this leads to a high real unemployment rate of 22% for people in their 20s. In 2010, a survey of 3,000 students by the Korean Employment Information Service, 40% said that they would be willing to spend an extra year unemployed rather than settle for a lower paying job. So all this effort leads to unreasonable expectations, and even in this extra year, they decide to go to more academies. Many would benefit for foregoing academies and universities.
So I'm going to talk about what Shane said. He said after-school program gives opportunity to learn another language. So yeah, they have all this time to learn another language, but I don't know if you've noticed, they've studied English since they were in kindergarten, and the most they could say, I know I've met Koreans, hi, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. And you? That's what they say. I'm not like trying to attack them, like they can write it, and that's cool, but if these academies are effective, why aren't they almost fluent in a language that they've been studying for 13 years? There's that. Ching also said that it prepares them for a job. It prepares them for a job, but not in the social aspect, because when you're in a job, you still have to communicate with people, and you still have to talk to people, and Koreans don't really get to do a lot of that until they get to college. So I don't think that these academies are effective at all.
Okay, so I'm going to go against what Garrett said. He said that the structure of Korean education at least have one to prevent crime. But I'm going to compare that to my experience as he uses. I didn't do any drugs. I didn't have sex. No rock and roll. And I live in America, so I don't know what to say about that. And also, like, I feel like that death is death. And in America, he says that there's more crime, but like in here, there's more suicide. So if you add it up, it's about equal in suicide and homicides. So like, I don't think it's the structure that's preventing crime. It's like the people, like just the culture. And also, I think it stifles creativity and out-of-the-box thinking. Okay.
I'd like to first talk about the suicide. And we're here to talk about the academies and if those cause suicides, but Korea has the highest suicide rate for all the ages. So it's unfair to say that education in the academy is a result of this, is when people are killing themselves after they graduate, once they have kids, once they have jobs, once they have grandkids. So it's obviously not the academy's fault for people killing themselves. It's definitely a culture and society problem. There's too much pressure to succeed, and if you're a failure, and then you cannot live up to your family's standards. And that's why the young people kill themselves. It's not stress from the long days, it's stress from the failure of the exam. And if there wasn't the exam, if there wasn't the academies, the exams would still stay the same. And in fact, the kids would be less prepared and more stressed to take the exam. And possibly more people would kill themselves because they'd get less grades. So if anything, the academy is actually helping them study and prepare for something that's already in place. If the academies weren't there, the schools wouldn't just get doubled to compensate for everyone else.
Robert mentioned how expensive these institutions are, but although they are expensive, you can just look at it as an investment towards their future. Same thing with us, we're paying money to go to college for an education, and it's similar to what they're doing to receive an education. And with the time, money, effort, and dedication you're putting towards that, in the long run, it is going to help you out. And in return, that commitment and that investment you're putting towards your life, it's going to lead you to a successful future. And they also mentioned about not having enough time to sleep or with their health. It's just they're not creating the time for that. And so, sorry, screw it up.
Alright, so there's always more than one path to success. What doesn't work for someone may work for someone else. So as for Korea, this education system is obviously working for them. they've shot up to one of the top education systems around the world. And also to touch on creativity, if you have creativity but you don't have a degree, what is it worth? So you can have all the creativity in the world, but if you don't have that college degree to get you the job, what's that worth to you? You know, the American better be creative and better write something witty on his cardboard sign whenever he's having to beg for change, because he's got all the creativity in the world, but he's standing under that bridge and he doesn't have a degree. Thank you.